Q7167-1. What are the four fundamental risk elements in the aeronautical decision making (ADM) process that comprise any given aviation situation? A. Pilot, aircraft, environment, and mission. B. Skill, stress, situational awareness, and aircraft. C. Situational awareness, risk management, judgment, and skill. The correct answer is A. In the aeronautical decision-making (ADM) process, the four fundamental risk elements encompass various aspects that contribute to the overall safety and effectiveness of aviation operations. Let's explore each element in more detail. Pilot. The pilot is a key component of the ADM process. It involves the knowledge, skills, experience, and proficiency of the pilot in making informed decisions. Factors such as pilot training, qualifications, physical and mental state, and proficiency in handling the aircraft play a vital role in mitigating risks. Aircraft. The aircraft itself is another crucial element in the ADM process. It includes factors such as the aircraft's design, equipment, systems, maintenance, and performance capabilities. Understanding the aircraft's limitations, airworthiness, and ensuring proper maintenance are essential in assessing the risks associated with the specific aircraft being operated. Environment. The environment refers to the conditions in which the aviation operation takes place. This includes weather conditions, airspace congestion, terrain, runway conditions, and other external factors that may impact the safety of the flight. Assessing and managing environmental risks is important for ensuring safe operations and avoiding potential hazards. Mission. The mission element involves the purpose and objectives of the flight. It includes factors such as flight duration, destination, purpose of travel, payload, and other mission-specific considerations. Understanding the mission requirements and aligning them with available resources, pilot capabilities, and environmental conditions is crucial for effective decision-making and risk management. By considering and evaluating these four fundamental risk elements, the pilot, aircraft, environment, and mission, during the ADM process, aviation professionals can make well-informed decisions to enhance safety, mitigate risks, and ensure successful flight operations. 7167-2. When should a flight instructor begin teaching aeronautical decision making (ADM) to a student? A. Beginning with the first lesson. B. As soon as the student is able to control the aircraft during basic maneuvers. C. After the student has completed the initial solo flight, but before conducting cross-country flights. The correct answer is B. Developing a solid foundation of aircraft control skills is crucial for student pilots. Once they have reached a point where they can confidently handle the aircraft during basic maneuvers, it signifies a significant milestone in their training. At this stage, students have demonstrated the ability to manage the primary flight controls, maintain proper altitude and airspeed, and perform basic maneuvers such as climbs, descents, turns, and straight and level flight. Introducing ADM principles at this stage allows students to integrate decision-making skills into their flying techniques right from the start. By doing so, they learn to assess and manage risks associated with specific flight situations. They gain an understanding of how various factors, such as weather conditions, aircraft limitations, and environmental considerations, can influence their decisions and affect flight safety. Teaching ADM early on helps students develop a proactive mindset toward decision-making. They learn to identify potential hazards and assess the associated risks before they become critical. By incorporating ADM principles into their training, students become more aware of their own limitations and vulnerabilities as pilots. They understand the importance of anticipating, evaluating, and mitigating risks, which is essential for safe aviation operations. Moreover, integrating ADM into the training process early on allows students to practice decision-making in a controlled and supervised environment. Flight instructors can provide guidance and feedback, helping students develop effective decision-making strategies. Students can learn from real-life scenarios and case studies, understanding the consequences of poor decision-making and the benefits of making sound judgments. By teaching ADM to students as soon as they are able to control the aircraft during basic maneuvers, flight instructors lay the foundation for developing well-rounded pilots. Students learn to make informed decisions that prioritize safety and enhance situational awareness throughout their aviation training. This early exposure to ADM principles sets the stage for a continuous learning process, enabling students to refine their decision-making skills as they progress in their flying journey. 7226-1. Aeronautical Decision Making, ADM, can defined as a mental process of analyzing all available information in a particular situation, making a timely decision on what action to take and when to take the action. B. Decision-making process which relies on good judgment to reduce risks associated with each flight. C. Systematic approach to the mental process used by pilots to consistently determine the best course of action in response to a given set of circumstances. The correct answer is C. ADM involves a structured and methodical approach to decision-making in aviation. It emphasizes the importance of considering all available information, analyzing risks and alternatives, and choosing the most appropriate action based on the specific situation at hand. This systematic approach helps pilots make consistent and informed decisions, enhancing flight safety and mitigating risks. By adopting ADM, pilots follow a step-by-step process that includes recognizing the need for a decision, gathering relevant information, assessing the risks and potential consequences, evaluating available options, and ultimately selecting the best course of action. This approach encourages pilots to consider various factors such as weather conditions, aircraft limitations, personal capabilities, and mission requirements, ensuring that decisions are well-informed and tailored to the specific circumstances. ADM also emphasizes the importance of good judgment in decision-making. While ADM involves utilizing available resources and utilizing standard procedures, it acknowledges that each flight situation is unique and may require pilots to exercise their judgment to make the most appropriate decision. This judgment-based decision-making helps reduce risks associated with each flight and promotes safe aviation practices. In summary, aeronautical decision-making, ADM, is a systematic approach that pilots use to consistently determine the best course of action in response to a given set of circumstances. It involves analyzing all available information, considering risks and alternatives, and making informed decisions based on the specific situation, with the ultimate goal of enhancing flight safety. 7226-2. Risk management. As part of the aeronautical decision-making, ADM, process, relies on which features to reduce the risks associated with each flight? A. Application of stress management and risk element procedures. B. The mental process of analyzing all information in a particular situation and making a timely decision on what action to take. C. Situational awareness, problem recognition, and good judgment. The correct answer is C. Risk management is an integral part of ADM and involves identifying, assessing, and mitigating risks in aviation. Situational awareness. Situational awareness refers to having a clear understanding of the current circumstances and conditions surrounding a flight. It involves continuously monitoring and comprehending the operational environment, including weather conditions, airspace congestion, traffic, terrain, and other relevant factors. By maintaining situational awareness, pilots can identify potential risks and take appropriate actions to mitigate them. Problem recognition. Problem recognition is the ability to identify potential hazards and issues during a flight. It involves being vigilant and observant, recognizing signs of emerging problems or deviations from expected norms. By promptly recognizing problems, pilots can initiate timely risk assessments and take necessary measures to address or mitigate those problems before they escalate into more significant issues. Good judgment. Good judgment is an essential aspect of risk management in ADM. It encompasses the ability to evaluate available information, assess risks, and make sound decisions based on that assessment. Pilots with good judgment can weigh various factors, such as aircraft limitations, personal capabilities, environmental conditions, and mission requirements to determine the most appropriate course of action. Sound judgment helps in minimizing risks and maximizing flight safety. By relying on situational awareness, problem recognition, and good judgment, pilots can effectively manage risks associated with each flight. These features enable them to proactively identify and address potential hazards, make informed decisions, and take appropriate actions to mitigate risks, thereby enhancing overall flight safety. It's worth noting that while stress management and risk element procedures and the mental process of analyzing all information and making timely decisions are important aspects in aviation decision-making, they do not specifically address the features emphasized in risk management as part of ADM. 7226-3. The Aeronautical Decision Making (ADM) process identifies several steps involved in decision-making. One of these steps is A. Making a rational evaluation of the required actions. B. Identifying personal attitudes hazardous to safe flight. C. Developing a can-do attitude. The correct answer is B. Identifying personal attitudes hazardous to safe flight. This step involves self-awareness and introspection to recognize any personal attitudes or tendencies that may compromise flight safety. It requires pilots to honestly assess their own mindset, beliefs, biases, and habits that could lead to risky behaviors or poor decision-making. By identifying and acknowledging these attitudes, pilots can take proactive measures to address and mitigate them, promoting a safer flight environment. Making a rational evaluation of the required actions. Although this is an important aspect of decision-making, it is not a specific step in the ADM process as outlined in the question. While pilots are encouraged to make rational evaluations, this step is not unique to the ADM process alone. Developing a can-do attitude. While having a positive attitude is beneficial in aviation, the specific concept of developing a can-do attitude is not a distinct step within the ADM process. It is important for pilots to maintain confidence and a proactive mindset, but it is not explicitly included as a step in the ADM process. In summary, the ADM process involves identifying personal attitudes hazardous to safe flight as one of its steps. This step emphasizes the need for pilots to recognize and address any attitudes or tendencies that may impede their decision-making abilities or compromise flight safety. By being aware of and actively working to mitigate these hazardous attitudes, pilots can enhance their decision-making skills and promote a safer aviation environment.